welcome back to my little cave. I just wanted to go through a few gear choices from the Scotland. Obviously I took regular walking trousers with me. Normally I would maybe take down trousers, down leggings for in camp or extra warmth in camp, and I maybe also might take some, you know, just regular leggings like these Century Designs leggings. For this particular trip I only took the Copperfield Enlightened trousers. They're 37 grams. The Century Designs are a little bit heavier, and obviously the down trousers are a little bit heavier again, but they're all, both of these are ridiculously light, but these are the lightest. And I checked the weather forecast and I knew that it was, the bit that I was doing wasn't realistically going to go much below about 8 or 10 degrees. So for in-camp use and a little extra insulation in camp, I knew that these would be enough, you know, in May for that particular section of the walk. As it happened, it actually got very cold after I'd finished. So I think if you're going to do a very long walk where you can't tell what the weather is going to be, it's all very well being able to see 4 or 5 or 6 days ahead of you, but maybe when it's very cold you may want to pack in something else. I probably would have put the down trousers in, you know, as well, maybe over and above the Century rather than, you know, than all three. So that's just my decision making on those trousers. I always take merino liner socks, and that was all I took this time apart from the socks I was wearing. Sometimes I would take down booties with me. Again, that's mainly for, you know, obviously for in-camp use. And sometimes I would take sealskin socks, not so much for walking in, although as Chris mentioned, on a long walk that he did when the temperature went down very, very cold and he was in trail running shoes, sealskins were very handy because even if they got wet, they kept the wind out. So they would at the very least, you know, help to keep your feet warmer or not so cold when you're walking. And obviously if you're in camp and you need to get out quickly and do something, rather than putting very cold, wet socks on, you could put sealskin socks on just to help your feet, you know, when you're doing things around camp. And then obviously, like I said, you know, down booties are very handy in camp. A little extra warmth in your sleeping bag if necessary, plus obviously if you're, you know, cooking or preparing and you're putting stuff away, they're kind of handy for that. So that's something else that I potentially might have taken, but I left it behind because I wanted to go very, very lightweight. So I only took the liner socks. I only took a kilt, which again, given the forecast for what I was doing, was plenty, but I don't think would have been enough for the last few days when the temperatures, you know, plummeted quite a bit up there. So again, that's fine if you're very confident that the weather's going to be okay. But I think for a long walk in Scotland, until maybe you're into July or something, you know, even June now, they've got snow up there. I took the Century Designs wind shirt and the PhD down jacket. And basically this was for warmth, walking if necessary, plus in camp. I like the hood. I like to put the hood up when I'm in camp because I tend to have drafty shelters, and a hood is a lifesaver in camp for me. So I took that, and I took the down jacket again for warmth in camp, although I didn't actually need that. I think I put it on once or twice briefly, but generally it wasn't so needed. The other things that I nearly took and didn't miss them, but obviously if it had been very much colder and I'd have been going, you know, for longer, or the weather was going to be a lot colder, then my t-shirt that I was wearing and wearing in camp, if that had got wet and I'd have, you know, only had this and, you know, and maybe the sleeping bag, which potentially would still be enough, you know, you may want extra warmth for walking. I've got a Century Designs top, which does give some extra warmth in camp. I didn't take it, but it, you know, could be useful. And you could either take a fleece for warmth when walking, or I think what's becoming more popular now is a light synthetic jacket. So again, I think this is something else that, you know, if you're going for a longer time and the weather's going to be unpredictable, you may very well find that a down jacket and an insulator jacket might actually go together very, very well. From the point of view, your synthetic jacket you could wear when walking if it was cold, to, you know, to regulate your body temperature, along with a waterproof. But obviously, you know, potentially it could get damp, so you may not want to rely on it, you know, in camp. And then a very lightweight down jacket in camp would very well be, you know, could very well be useful. So again, I didn't take this because the forecast didn't indicate it. But if you're going for longer, then these are a few extra bits that you may want to put in. And I think my sleep system, as long as I was able to find somewhere sheltered, I think was fine. I think that tarp I can get quite low, I can get the sides down. As long as you're fairly sheltered, it would have been fine. The sleeping bag was a 10-degree sleeping bag. Again, if the temperatures had got very much colder, then I would have had I could have taken, but I didn't, the down booties and the down leggings, and that would have obviously, you know, kept me a little bit warmer in camp and in the sleeping bag. If the forecast had been much colder, then I would have added some of these bits in, or made a couple of changes. And if I'd have been going longer, especially after seeing what happened with Chris, because obviously he basically abandoned the trip where I finished because of high winds coming in. It was gusting up to 50-60 mile an hour, and very, very cold weather. And like me, I think he'd gone prepared for spring summer weather, less winter snow weather. So he's got a blog post that you might find interesting on his blog about his decision making and everything. Gloves, I just took liner gloves, very, very thin liner gloves, one pair, and that was it. Again, the weather didn't even really indicate that they were needed. I wore them once because I'd sprayed them with permethrin to help keep the mozzies at bay. Again, obviously, if the weather is unpredictable or you don't know what the weather's going to do, then I probably would have put one pair of warmer gloves in, and quite likely a waterproof over mitt as well to help. So you can see now how it's very easy to go super lightweight and save a whole load of weight. But if you don't know the weather conditions, suddenly you're adding in an extra jacket, you're adding in an extra pair of down leggings, you're adding in an extra this and an extra that, and even very, very lightweight stuff, you know, it can still add up, you know, a huge amount. Another thing that I didn't take with me because I didn't think it was needed, and to be fair, I don't think I would have missed it under most circumstances, was a bivvy. Well, it's not. This isn't really a bivvy. This is a sleeping bag cover. But given that the bivvy I had had a waterproof base and a water resistant top and a head mesh net, you know, there wasn't a huge amount of point in taking something that was more waterproof. Again, maybe if the conditions had been more unpredictable, then I might very well have put in a bivvy like this, or an MLD FKT type bivvy that's very lightweight, but that, you know, you could use in an emergency, that is completely waterproof rather than, you know, water resistant. But again, that's something else that I didn't take. There's a few bits there that I could have taken but that I didn't, to save weight. I didn't miss any of it, but obviously, you know, if the forecast is unpredictable, then you may need some of these things, you know, added in. So just a few food for thoughts for food, or for, anyway, whatever, there for you. Thanks very much for watching. Sorry, this is a bit of an ad hoc type of video. I've got quite a few trips planned at the moment, so I'm trying to keep things really simple. So I'll see you in the next video. Thanks very much for watching.